Information technology is one of those occupations no one notices until something goes wrong. Few users send appreciative notes to IT manager because the team is doing a great job of keeping the network running. Let the network go down for 5 minutes. Actually, the goal of everyone who works in IT, network people, server people, system administrator, database people, and software developer is to invisible. It's not a professional for everyone who aspire to fame. If you are a famous IT person, it often means you're really bad at what you do and everyone hates you. Invisibility should be the goal of user experience design too. Any device, telephone, mobile app, power tool, automobile, blender, building, or anything electronic people interact with should be so intuitive and easy to use that users don't have to think about it. Only bad user experience should be noticed. Today we will examine just that bad user experience. So many products and systems that were great ideas have failed miserably because of bad user experience design. Here are four examples of how to sabotage your own great product idea. Juicero. Imagine a device that takes pre-packaged concentrated flavoring and processing them into delicious, nutritious beverages. Are you thinking of K-cups? Close, but not quite. The juicy press was essentially a K-cup machine for fruits and vegetable juices, except it didn't turn out that way. The idea behind the juicery press was similar to Keurig K-cup but with a twist. Instead of placing the desired juice packets in the machine and pushing a button, the user had to download a mobile phone app to operate the machine using Wi-Fi and only Wi-Fi. Unlike K-cups which are distributed by multiple manufacturers, the Juicero juice packets were available only from Juicero and the machine cost $700. Needless to say, Juicero flopped. This is a classic case of a team with a great ideas trying to cram all those ideas into a single device without considering cost control or what people really want out of a juice machine. Making things unnecessarily complicated just because you can is a formula for failures. Animations is not a specific product, it's a design element often used just for the sake of using it. It's too easy to pick on Microsoft, but we will do it anyway. Recent Microsoft Windows and product of and Office products have introduced lots of animations. Windows and dialog boxes that fly out and fly back, Excel formula cells that flip up new values when one of the inputs changes, and so on. It's very nice, but why? What was wrong with simply changing 12 to 19 in an Excel cell? Here's a Microsoft animations that clearly was not tested. In Word, you can use the track changes feature to indicate changes that made to the document when they were made and by whom depending on your views. These changes are indicated redlined on the text itself or listed in a navigation pane on the left side of the windows. The list in the navigation pane does not sync with the document view until you make a change or insert a comment. When it does sync, it doesn't jump to the right place, it scrolls using a nice smooth animation. Cool, right? Maybe cool for 2-page document with a handful of changes. In a 200-page document with hundreds of changes, you can end up waiting for a minute or longer for the navigation pane to scroll from wherever it was to wherever you are in the document. If you are entering a comment, you have to wait for the scrolling to stop before you can begin writing it. This is just a get, but it seems likely if this feature was tested at all. This was not tested with power users who need lot who need tools that don't get in the way more than they need fancy animations and surprise you can't turn this animation off. Do a Google research for something you get a convenient set of tabs for a different content types such as videos, shopping sites or maps. Now do a Google research for something else. What do you get? A convenient list of tabs for different content types, but the tabs have changed in design and location. Maps might be replaced with images or videos, might be in a different spot. This might be considered a good idea. The search engine attempt to rank the category by relevance and put the most relevant ones closest to the left. The leftmost spot is always occupied by all. The trouble is this violates one of the most important tenets of good user experience: consistency. People form model in their head about where things are in an interface. They get tripped when things move around. Warning. Do you remember tabbed dialog boxes in older version of Windows? Sometimes there would be a multiple rows of tabs, 3, 4 or more. Some applications went away too far with this feature. When you clicked on a tab, that row of tab would move to the front. So the tab next to the one you just clicked was no longer next to where you clicked. It relocated to a different place. This made it hard to find what you were looking for, especially when there were many rows of tabs. Fourth one is Dropdown list. Dropdown lists have been a staple of graphical user interface since the first crude text-based menu appeared in the early 1980s. Their popularity endures because they are simple to understand and easy to use. Have you ever had to use one that had more than a handful of items? If you have had to use a scroll bar to find the item you are looking for, the list becomes hard to navigate. This is not a revolution. This criticism of drop-down lists has been known for years, almost since when they were introduced. You still see them all the time. Have you recently had to supply an address when creating a website account? If the site asks for your country of residence, chances are good you had to scroll through a drop-down list to find yourself. This is a nightmare on Mobile. There are better ways that don't require much imagination or even any code. Cascading menu or filter as you type widgets are easier. When you see a long drop down list, if it's because someone was too lazy to do it right. So, what makes user experience so hard? User experience is not difficult. The basic principle of user interface design was not new and have not changed over the years, and it does not take much user testing to discover problems. What's hard is keeping user experience top of mind during the product design process. It's easy to lose sight of the value of the end user's experience. When you are in a fertile feature brainstorming session or are trying to establish or maintain a reputation of edgy design, that's why it's so important for any product development team to have a dedicated resource with expertise in user experience. Someone who is not enamored with pet features or unconventional visual design, someone who is not pulling double duty as a developer or system architect, someone who remembers it's the customer, not the product team, who need to be happy with the product in order for it to succeed.